Okay, real talk, when you work from home, your desk becomes your whole world. Mine used to feel like a bland little island of cables and coffee stains until I started adding tiny succulents around my monitor. Not the big, dramatic plants. I'm talking small, compact ones that sit quietly next to your keyboard and somehow make the whole space feel intentional. They don't need babysitting, they don't drop leaves everywhere, and they definitely don't judge you for wearing sweatpants at 2 p.m. I've tested a bunch of these on my own desk, and some are perfect for tight setups. So today, I'm walking you through my top 14 compact succulents that actually work for a work-from-home setup. Small footprint, big personality. Let's clean up that desk energy a little. Plant number 1 is the Karoo Rose, and if you want something compact that actually earns its spot on your desk, this is it. This little succulent usually stays under 6 inches tall in a small pot, so it fits easily between your laptop and that stack of notebooks without crowding you. It loves bright light, which makes it perfect for a desk near a window, and it can handle dry indoor air like a champ since succulents naturally store water in their leaves and stems. I water mine about every 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes even less in winter, and it is totally fine because overwatering is the only real way to mess it up. What I like most for a work-from-home setup is that it is low distraction but still interesting, with thick glossy leaves and bold blooms that can last for weeks when it is happy. Studies have shown that having plants in a workspace can boost productivity and lower stress, and even one small plant like this can make your desk feel more alive without adding maintenance to your day. If you want compact, tough, and surprisingly eye-catching, the Karoo Rose absolutely deserves that front row spot on your desk. Plant number 2 is Aeonium Kiwi, and this one honestly feels like a tiny sunset sitting on your desk. It stays pretty compact indoors, usually around 6 to 8 inches tall in a small container, so it fits comfortably on a work-from-home desk without taking over your space. The rosettes have green centers with creamy yellow edges that blush pink in bright light, which means the better the light near your window, the better it looks. It prefers bright and direct light and well-draining soil, and I only water it when the top inch of soil is completely dry, about every 2 to 3 weeks depending on the season. What makes it perfect for a desk setup is that it grows upright and tidy, so it does not sprawl into your keyboard zone or knock over your coffee. Succulents like this are built to store water in their leaves, which makes them resilient in typical indoor humidity levels around 40 to 60%. If your workspace needs color without chaos, Aeonium Kiwi gives you structure, personality, and that little pop of energy that makes long Zoom days feel a bit less flat. Plant number 3 is the Painted Lady Succulent, and this one is all about subtle color without taking over your desk. It stays compact, usually under 6 inches tall in a small pot, which makes it ideal for tight work-from-home setups where every inch matters. The leaves have soft green tones brushed with pink or red edges when exposed to bright light, so placing it near a sunny window really brings out that contrast. It thrives in bright and direct light, needs fast-draining soil, and I water it roughly every 2 to 3 weeks once the soil is fully dry, which makes it easy to manage between meetings. Because it stores water in its thick leaves, it handles typical indoor humidity and mist waterings better than most houseplants. What I like about it for a desk is that it grows in a neat rosette, so it stays contained and does not spread into your workspace. Research on indoor plants shows even small greenery can improve mood and focus, and a compact plant like the Painted Lady adds that calm visual break without adding maintenance to your routine. Plant number 4 is Echeveria Gibbiflora, and this one brings a bold sculptural look without demanding a ton of space on your desk. Even though some varieties can grow wider over time, in a small indoor pot it usually stays around 6 to 8 inches tall, forming a single dramatic rosette that feels like living art next to your laptop. The ruffled leaves can show shades of blue-green, lavender, or even pink under strong light, so placing it near a bright window really helps it develop that color. It prefers at least 6 hours of bright light, well-draining soil, and watering only when the soil is completely dry, which for me ends up being every 2 to 3 weeks. Like most succulents, it stores water in its thick leaves, making it well-suited for indoor humidity levels and busy work schedules. What makes it great for a work-from-home desk is the visual impact to footprint ratio. It looks impressive but does not require daily attention. If you want something compact that feels intentional and a little elevated, Echeveria Gibbiflora makes your desk look styled without trying too hard. Plant number 5 is the Queen Victoria Agave, and this one feels like the minimalist designer piece of the succulent world. It grows slowly and stays compact for years, often reaching about 6 to 12 inches tall in a container, which makes it a solid long-term choice for a work-from-home desk. The deep green leaves are thick and triangular with crisp white markings that look almost hand-painted, giving it a clean geometric vibe that pairs perfectly with a modern setup. It loves bright light and can handle several hours of direct sun near a window, and because it stores water in its dense leaves, you may only need to water it every 2 to 4 weeks depending on your indoor conditions. Agaves are known for their durability and ability to tolerate dry air, which is ideal since most indoor humidity levels sit around 40%. What I appreciate most is that it grows in a tight symmetrical rosette, so it stays contained and does not sprawl into your workspace. If you want something compact, structured, and incredibly low maintenance that still makes a statement, the Queen Victoria Agave absolutely earns its place on your desk. Plant number 6 is Haworthia Cooperi, and this is one of those compact succulents that feels made for a desk setup. It stays small, usually around 3 to 5 inches tall, forming a tight cluster of plump translucent leaves that almost look like little water bubbles under good light. Because it naturally grows low to the ground, it fits easily under a monitor shelf or right beside your keyboard without blocking anything. It prefers bright and direct light instead of harsh direct sun, which makes it perfect for home offices that get steady daylight but not intense afternoon rays. I water mine about every 2 to 3 weeks, letting the soil dry out completely, and it handles normal indoor humidity without any issues since it stores moisture in those thick leaves. One thing I like is how forgiving it is. Even if you forget a watering during a busy week, it usually bounces back just fine. Studies have shown that having greenery in your workspace can improve focus and reduce mental fatigue, and a small plant like Haworthia Cooperi gives you that calming visual break without adding extra work to your day. Plant number 7 is Lithops Karasmontana, and this one is probably the most conversation-starting plant you can put on a desk. It stays extremely compact, usually just 1 to 2 inches tall, which means it barely takes up more space than your coffee mug but still grabs attention. These are often called living stones because they literally look like small pebbles split down the middle, and that design is not just cool, it helps them survive by storing water inside thick leaf pairs. For a work-from-home desk, that water storage is a big deal because you might only water it every 3 to 4 weeks, and sometimes even less, especially during dormancy. It prefers bright light, ideally near a sunny window, and very well-draining soil so the roots never sit in moisture. What makes it perfect for a focused workspace is that it is tiny, slow-growing, and almost maintenance-free, yet visually interesting enough to give your eyes a quick creative break between tasks. If you want the ultimate low-footprint succulent that still feels unique, Lithops Karasmontana is basically the minimalist desk plant taken to the extreme. Plant number 8 is Echeveria Black Prince, and this one brings a striking dark touch to any work-from-home desk without taking up much space. It stays compact in a small pot, usually around 6 inches tall and wide, forming a tight rosette with deep green to almost black leaves that really pop against lighter backgrounds. It loves bright light, and when it gets a few hours of direct sun each day, the tips can turn a rich reddish hue, giving your desk a subtle but noticeable color shift. I water it sparingly, about every 2 to 3 weeks, only when the soil is fully dry, which makes it perfect for those busy workdays where you forget to check on plants. Because it stores water in its thick leaves, it tolerates normal indoor humidity and doesn't get stressed if the air is a bit dry. What makes it great for a desk is that it grows in a tidy rosette that won't spill over your workspace but still feels bold and decorative. If you want a succulent that's both compact and visually dramatic, Echeveria Black Prince definitely earns a prime spot on your work-from-home desk. Plant number 9 is Lithops, and this one is basically a tiny piece of nature that barely takes up any desk space but still catches your eye. They usually stay just 1 to 2 inches tall, so you can fit a few of them in small pots without cluttering your workspace. These little living stones store water inside their thick leaf pairs, which means they need watering only every 3 to 4 weeks, making them perfect for busy work-from-home days. They love bright light, ideally near a window with steady sunlight, and need very well-draining soil to stay healthy. What makes them great for a desk is that they stay low, compact, and almost sculptural in appearance, so you get a cool visual without anything sprawling over your keyboard. They're incredibly low maintenance, and their unique stone-like look makes them a natural conversation starter during video calls. Even having 1 or 2 can subtly boost focus and calm your mind while you work. Lithops are the ultimate example of a tiny, resilient, and interesting succulent for small indoor setups. Plant number 10 is Baby Toes, and this one is a quirky little succulent that fits perfectly on a work-from-home desk. It usually stays around 2 to 3 inches tall, growing in tight clusters that look like tiny green fingers poking out of the soil, which makes it fun to glance at between tasks. It loves bright and direct light, and when it gets enough sun, the tips can blush pink or red, adding a subtle pop of color without taking over your desk. I water it sparingly, roughly every 2 to 3 weeks, letting the soil dry completely, which is easy since it stores water in its thick tubular leaves. Because it grows compact and upright, it doesn't spill into your workspace or crowd your keyboard, keeping your desk neat and tidy. What makes it perfect for a home office is that it's resilient, visually interesting, and basically maintenance-free, so you get personality without extra work. Baby Toes is a great example of a tiny plant that feels alive and playful while still staying low-key. Plant number 11 is Euphorbia Obesa, and this one is basically a little geometric masterpiece for your desk. It usually stays around 3 to 4 inches tall in a small pot, forming a perfectly round, almost baseball-shaped body that makes it feel sculptural without taking up much space. It thrives in bright and direct light and only needs watering every 2 to 3 weeks when the soil is completely dry, which is perfect for busy work from home days. Because it stores water in its thick, rounded body, it handles normal indoor humidity and occasional forgetful watering without any issues. What makes it great for a desk is that it stays compact and upright, so it never spills into your workspace, plus it has a subtle texture that makes it visually interesting during Zoom calls. Euphorbia obesa is low maintenance, slow growing, and tough, so it gives you all the benefits of having greenery without adding extra work to your day. If you want something small, striking, and practically indestructible, this lil succulent is a no-brainer for your desk. Plant number 12 is Astrophytum Asterias, and this one is basically a tiny star sitting on your desk. It usually stays around 3 to 5 inches wide and only a couple inches tall, which makes it perfect for small work from home setups where space is limited. Its round, flattened body is covered in subtle white speckles that give it a textured, almost cosmic look, and when placed in bright light it really pops without needing anything else around it. It prefers bright and direct light, fast-draining soil, and watering only when the soil is completely dry, which ends up being every 2 to 3 weeks for most indoor conditions. Because it stores water in its thick stem, it can handle typical indoor humidity and occasional mist waterings, making it virtually worry-free. What I love about it for a desk is that it stays contained, low profile, and visually striking, so it adds personality without cluttering your workspace. If you want a compact, low-maintenance succulent that feels unique and decorative, Astrophytum Asterias is a perfect little desk companion. Plant number 13 is Brain Cactus, and this one is a real conversation starter on a work-from-home desk. It usually stays around 4 to 6 inches tall in a small pot, with its twisted, convoluted growth pattern that really lives up to the name, making it feel like a miniature piece of living art. It loves bright and direct light and fast-draining soil, and I water it only when the soil is fully dry, usually every 2 to 3 weeks, which makes it perfect for busy days when you might forget a plant. Because it stores water in its thick stems, it handles typical indoor humidity without stress and bounces back easily if you miss a watering. What makes it great for a desk is that it stays compact but visually striking, so it adds a unique touch without crowding your keyboard or papers. Its sculptural look makes it almost like a little desk accessory that also boosts focus and calms subtly as you glance at it. Brain Cactus is low maintenance, slow growing, and oddly mesmerizing, making it a top pick for anyone wanting personality with minimal effort. Plant number 14 is Jewel Leaf Plant, and this one is the perfect finishing touch for a work-from-home desk. It usually stays compact, around 4 to 6 inches tall, with small, thick, glossy leaves that catch the light and add a subtle shine without taking over your workspace. It thrives in bright and direct light and well-draining soil, and I water it sparingly every 2 to 3 weeks, letting the soil dry out completely, which makes it easy to care for even during busy workdays. Because it stores water in its succulent leaves, it tolerates typical indoor humidity and can handle occasional mist waterings without stress. What makes it great for a desk is that it grows in a tidy, upright habit, so it doesn't sprawl into your keyboard or notebook space. Its shimmering leaves add a little pop of life and energy, making your desk feel more inviting and less sterile. Jewel Leaf Plant is low maintenance, visually appealing, and resilient, giving you a touch of nature without any extra hassle. It's a compact little gem that really completes a productive and pleasant workspace. And that's a wrap on our top 14 compact succulents for work-from-home desks. Each of these little plants proves that you don't need a giant space or hours of care to bring life, color, and calm to your workspace. From the tiny living stones to bold rosettes and quirky shapes, there's something here for every desk style and personality. Remember, even one small plant can boost focus, reduce stress, and make your day feel a little brighter. So pick a few favorites, set them up, and watch your workspace transform into a mini green oasis. If you enjoyed this guide, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more plant tips and desk inspiration. Your desk deserves a little greenery, and these succulents are the perfect place to start.